We're pulling back the curtains and we're shining a spotlight on some of our incredible members inside the Recurring Revenue Society. Today we are speaking to 4 of our members. We're going to have 2 on this podcast, 2 on another podcast because we know you're busy. But this is basically where we shine a light on their business, allow them to ask us and the community one-on-one personalised questions about how we can help them move forward. If this sounds at all exciting to you, we do this inside our membership kind of every month. So jump on in, hear how we coach each other and how we share our thoughts, feelings, and how we get people moving from stuck to completely unstuck in a single session. Anyway, let's go.
I'm Mia, a mum of 2, a former burnt-out Ambo who sold it all to travel Australia in her caravan and turned a single TikTok idea into a 6-figure content creation business leveraging UGC.
And I'm Kristen, also a mum of 2 with over 15 years experience in brand and marketing. I went from the corporate world to being made redundant and decided to back my idea of starting a branding business and a successful wedding venue side hustle, generating 6 figures all whilst living on the vineyard.
One random DM between us sparked more than just a friendship. It ignited a passion to mentor women online around the world.
We know what it takes to make it work online, and we're here to show you what's possible.
In less than 12 months, we built a 6-figure membership together. And here's the kicker, we have not met in person yet.
That is a kicker. We're here to show you the power of reoccurring revenue and how achievable it really is. We don't sugarcoat things around here. We talk about the real shit, the good shit, and the bullshit. So buckle up. Let's go.
Helen, do you want to jump in?
Do you want to tell everybody what's happened, Helen?
Yes, sorry.
I accidentally posted a fucking TikTok and it went ballistic, and now I've had Yahoo journos contact me and the Today Show. They want me to go on TV for 2 to 3 minutes talking about my shitty neighbour.
Yeah, so they just want to interview about the neighbour. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I've avoided replying to any of them because, A, I've gained about 100 followers on TikTok and I'm trying to ignore the negative comments.
What happened with the neighbour?
Car out the front of my house, and then the rubbish men don't collect my rubbish bins because the car's in the way. And
it's interesting to wonder why Today Show, like, are they just going to interview about,
I don't know, shitty neighbours maybe? I don't know.
So if it does come to fruition and you are on the Today Show and they interview you about what happened, I mean, it could go somewhere, it could go nowhere. You just never know. But I guess you just want to set your socials up to have like an email address and perhaps somewhere that people can go if they're, interested in what you do. It depends on what you talk about too.
Yeah. Well, if they shared my TikTok or whatever, just in case, like, I've had a lot of views on my profile, and I think I need to change that as well. Yeah, at least if I had a stand store and something free to offer, people could sign up so I could at least collect emails. So if I do something down the track.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to call that guy and just suss out what he actually wants to talk about, what questions he's going to ask you, because that'll depend on,
My opening line was, does anyone else have inconsiderate neighbours? And then boom, the comment section just went crazy.
Yeah, you're asking people a question and they feel inclined to comment, and then it pushes it out. Yeah.
I was never meant to post that video. Literally, I accidentally pushed post and I thought, oh, well, just leave it.
I suppose, like Mia said, maybe contact them, ask them kind of what they're wanting to do, because at the end of the day, yes, you got to get started, you got to go somewhere if you want to do a stance or whatever, but you still need kind of that thought in mind of people will only purchase and or follow and or stay around if there's something for them. Like, social media is an incredibly selfish platform because we all want something for us. So what is it that your ideal customer would want from you? Something you've got now or something that you can share with them that at least if you go to that extent and it does have some benefit to you, what would you want people to get from that? Would be
It'd be a little bit strategic too. Like perhaps if they do interview you, you could bring it in like, I'm a perimenopausal angry woman now, and I create a lot of content about it online, and then that'll attract women. Go, I'm going to go follow her because that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm going through that.
That's what I actually said that in my follow-up video, because I replied to a comment and actually said it in there. I'm perimenopausal, and if you piss me off, you're going to hear about it. So
Yeah.
pretty much that's it.
And so if there is this opportunity for a lot of people to see this on TV, you've got to sort of catch them and draw them to your account, which, may in turn mean that have you got affiliate links for any of the yam cream or anything yet, or is that?
No, I don't think they'll give them because they're so popular.
You could contact Tracy to get an affiliate link for her menopause fitness app. Pop that in there, kind of fits. And I think she was talking about that at some point. But yeah, it's hard to know. You just want somewhere for people to go just in case, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it could be potentially you could just go and set up a Facebook group, a free Facebook group now, private. So you've got to get people to whatever, or it could just be free to get people in there. That's for perimenopausal women. And you could just set it up now. So come join my Facebook group where we're having discussions about how shit perimenopause can be. At least then you've got a captivated audience that if someone lands, they're like, oh my God, yeah, I'm crazy. I've got that. Let's jump in there and talk about this. Like, that would be a smarter freebie than creating a PDF or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got cranky perimenopausal women and that segment on Today's Show. Yeah. You could just say, I've got a Facebook group full of cranky perimenopausal women.
And it doesn't have to be full. Like, I'm sure if you set it up and like, guys, I'm going next week, there'd be a few hivers that'd be like, dude, we'll come and follow you. And so you've got people in there, and just make sure the SEO is on point, like we did with the UGC Facebook group SEO. So if someone's searching it, it shows up. But that would be, I'd probably put that as like my number one link, because at least, you're capturing an audience then.
And every time you create content, you can funnel people into there as well. So you've got that time to think about, what am I going to create? I've got this Facebook group full of my perfect target audience already, and we're talking about, funny stuff and whatnot. So that's probably a good option rather than trying to smash out some random PDF that you're not quite sure about yet. And if they do interview you, kind of lean it towards that topic that you're already speaking about.
Kelly?
Howdy ho.
I am just like this constantly.
What?
I can't believe the difference from yesterday to today.
Yeah.
Where I felt very confident and happy with the way I was doing things. And today I'm kind of like, no, I don't know. I just, I think some of the stuff that you guys have already spoken about, I've like taken notes, and I think it will actually help me a lot. I just feel confused and lost, and I probably keep taking in too much information, and that's just scattering me more. So I've had some success with, and I think part of it is also with the UGC stuff. I've not been busy, like over the Black Friday and everything, and then I'm seeing all these people who are. And that's probably playing into a bit of that self-doubt stuff. But I'm kind of at a point where I keep going with like a separate UGC account and really kind of build up a bit of a bank of content that is pretty simple, but will potentially get brands going, oh yeah, like we could work with that energy? Or do I focus all of my energy on my just Kelly account that I kind of think I want that account to be more like just relatable. I hate the word relatable, but relatable kind of mum life, everything like this, because I feel like probably there are a lot of people who are experiencing that kind of up and down turbulence, especially. I'm lost. I feel lost.
Yeah. So I was the same. Like if you look at my UGC Instagram account, there's not much on there, but I sort of just made sure I had the keywords in there. And sometimes, to be honest, I don't know how brands find me. They just find me, and I don't know if it's from that UGC account or same with the TikTok account. I haven't posted on there for years. So you could just, like you said, put a few more examples on there and keep it really simple and go heavy on the SEO. And I hope that brands will find you that way. And then sort of, if you like creating the relatable mum content more and that's more enjoyable for you, you potentially can get brand deals coming in from that as well. If you just make it clear on your website, like here's my email address and I'm open to collaborations, and do that sort of really top of funnel content, because your long-term goal is the business with the mums.
Yeah, I like to create a mum kind of support community, mum group, but also, but from like, I think where my problem is, I want it to incorporate all stages of motherhood. So like starting with having like that positive birth and postpartum experience into like life now with young kids, and I guess it's working out, where do I start? Because I feel like sometimes posting about like the positive birth and postpartum stuff, like I enjoy talking about it and sharing like what I did, but I'm not in that, and it feels hard to, I don't know, for some reason I find it hard to share, even though I've experienced it and done it and had a good time. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you sort of get clear, because if I'm watching content, I've done that, I've passed that, I'm not interested in that anymore. I want to follow someone who's going through something that I'm going through now. Doesn't mean that you can't create content about that because you've not in that period of your life. But I think, I mean, sometimes you can go too broad. Yeah, I mean, who is your ideal mum? Is it just fresh, or is she going through the thick of it with toddlers, or is it teenagers, or is it, I think you've probably got to choose one.
Yeah.
Is there an ideal one?
I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? Because I'm out of the mom. Well, I'm not out of the mom stage. I'm still a mom. My daughter's older though. But when you were talking about postpartum, because I'm not sure the background, are you? Because you said that you want to have support for moms or whatever. There's a lot of support groups for moms or whatever. But I think you're hitting on the head there, because you went through postpartum and stuff. Maybe you should be focusing on, hey, this used to be me, but now this is my life now. This is how I got there. And maybe that's your target group, like the moms going through postpartum that want to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah. So like one of my big ideas was to actually have like an in-person service, but could also potentially work online in supporting mums who, I guess, in the thick of it, but beyond that, postpartum, because we're forever postpartum, beyond that, like the fourth trimester, where it, I feel, gets harder. And I've seen on a lot of like the local mum group Facebook pages and stuff, there's always comments about, I'm so burnt out, I don't have time, getting out of the house is so like difficult, just getting everything together to get out, and like somehow supporting that, I think, is like, yeah. So I think it's not the super young. I think it's that like
post newborn phase where you're venturing out.
Phase. Is there something that you could think of, and it would take a bit of work, but in that kind of that period that you're thinking where, I think we all, as mums, we all remember that moment where, when you're pregnant, everybody's concerned, love for you at the hospital, you have your baby, it's amazing, you go home, you're like, well, now what the fuck? Where is everybody? Why does no one care anymore? And you feel really lost, and that's that kind of fourth, fifth trimester. The in-person stuff is good if you've got local areas, that's fine. But if you go one big and you go, okay, you think about the Aussie Biz Chicks or something, and she does a subscription box. Can you create some kind of subscription box for mothers in that first 12 months, say, but they sign up and say, I'm just out of hospital, like, fuck, what I would have loved to have nappies dropped at my door with a little, here's a pair of earrings and the latest moisturizer that's just come out, like align with brands that might work. You do UGC, so how can you incorporate that for a little mum package, a little something that's like, this is for you. You are working so fucking hard. you need to be rewarded. Yes, like everybody else, you know, it might be shit, you could reach out to somebody like, what's the meal people that I get to my house
The
now?
dinner ladies.
Yeah, like somebody like that gives them a voucher. Here's $50 off your first one, so that the first month that you come home from hospital, you don't need to. And then that becomes, hey, I don't want anything for my baby shower. I just want this subscription. Just get me a year's subscription to this particular business model. Like, I know that sounds really big, but how could you start something a little bit smaller? They might want to give you, support you, something that you could just align with a few brands, and then you put in there something, or they join your community group and you add little videos or little virtual meetups where they can just put you on the screen and you do something with them while their children do something. Like, think of it ways that you could do it, but you don't have to be everywhere for everyone. But it's something special.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
But just pinpointing that audience. And that's true. Like, there's so much for pregnancy. There's so much for newborns and breastfeeding. And then there's this period where you're like stuck at home with your kids, and you're like, oh my God, I can't even go into the shops because it's just too hectic. So I'm alone. I'm not putting them in daycare yet or what have you. So maybe it's just choosing that period where they can really relate to it. And, you know, I don't know, when you've got teenagers and stuff, maybe you sort of forget how hard it was back then. So that won't relate to the older demographic. And then you'll catch people who are coming into that as well. But yeah, really pinpointing that. And that's a really good stage of motherhood that is super relatable.
Because most of the time you are literally breastfeeding at 2 a.m, scrolling. I mean, the amount of things I bought scrolling while I was breastfeeding, I was like, yep, I need that. Yep, I need that. Yep. Like, because you're alone. There's nobody else around. So what can you add in that time to kind of support and help while they're scrolling?
And so maybe it's setting up your old or your current UGC account as that's just a bit of a portfolio. It's SEO focused. It's my portfolio. Hopefully brands find me there. You've got your email there, all the links ready to go. And then on this main page, you can still do UGC kind of content because mums might be like, oh, I didn't know that product existed. Awesome. That's really going to help me get out the house with these 3 kids. And then you've got that primed up audience ready for when you do create your offer.
Yeah. Because I think the type of content that I want to produce is the type of content that I like to consume, which is like the day in the life and recipes and play like ideas. So I could tie all that into this, right?
Yeah. And that's it. Like play-based activities for toddlers, and you've got this product, but also, you know, sometimes with mums, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to think of today to do with the kids? I've got no idea. Like it's
like, so I created myself like I called it the breastfeeding box, which was just activities for my 2.5-year-old to do that only came out when we needed a bit of shush, or like when I was breastfeeding and I didn't want her needing me so much, but it encouraged that independent play. So like something along, like I could do something along those lines, right?
Even like, you know, Tara's Test It Tuesday, you could do something that's like you create play on a certain day, or you create craft, or here's a little, you know, I went to Kmart and got these things for under $10 and now I've packaged them in every week. Like things like that, again, that's incorporating your UGC skills and aligning with potential people, but, you know, also aligning with who you want to speak to as well, because I think that's a really beautiful idea to.
And another thing, when I had littlies, like trying to lug them out of the house in a double pram, I wanted to know what cafes in this area are good for kids.
Yeah.
Like
or parks. Yeah,
there's a website in Melbourne, I think it's called Mama Knows Best, I think, and she just does blogs and videos about all the best cafes for kids and all the best parks in the area. You know, just helpful stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then you can do the funny, relatable, top of funnel stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've gotten lost in the fun. I feel like that's where my content, like it's all very, I'm going to assume without being technical, it's not top of funnel.
If you go to just the example of my latest TikToks that have popped off, like if you look how top of funnel they are compared to the content I used to create, you'd be like, You just kind of like, it's got to be there to keep capturing those people. And then once they're in the funnel, then you can serve them. Every so often you pop you pepper deeper content in.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you just want to catch them and then send them through the systems.
Yeah.
Selling the stories.
I feel like you inspired me, Kristen. I did a really quick like TikTok and it hit like over 600 views already. This took me 30 seconds to do. Well, 60 seconds because it was a 60-second one.
That's why we love TikTok.
And I feel like it's not even talking about it was talking about nothing. So I feel like, you've kind of I think I need to be, I think I've gone too serious in it.
And it's one of those things that, we found that focusing a lot of our energy on Instagram, for example, probably took the fun out of content creation for me and I, because we were like, how does this, it needs to be strategic and why has it not got this many views? And then all of a sudden we both turned back to TikTok like, fuck it, we love it over here. And literally the TikTok that started this, I was sitting here, I was in my pajamas, no bra, had a cup of coffee and was like, I'm just going to talk about this. And then all of a sudden I get out the shower and I was like, 5,000 views. I'm sorry, what? And then it just kept going. And, so that's the content that I love creating, but I was like, oh no, I should go and be perfect over there. I'm like, that's not me. It's not. So lean into what brings you joy. And motherhood is messy as fuck. So the more that you can be you and have people go, oh my God, there's more people like me and I don't have to, this is amazing. Like that's where your connection piece is going to come into this. And you can put that on Instagram and if it flops, who cares? Like be you. Don't be what you think it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because your people will be drawn to you.
If you look at Tara's content, why she's just got so many followers, like it's very top of funnel. Like a lot of people can be like, oh, that recipe looks great. And then in your stories or in your email list, that's when you sort of sell and nurture and do all that sort of stuff. And then trickle in posts here and there where you might say, I've got this on offer or come join this or whatever.
Yeah. I've kind of been more focused on building the follower and engagement more than kind of thinking about what the offer is going to be at this point. Like I know what roughly.
Building that audience first and then giving them an offer rather than trying to force an offer down people's throats when you've got a couple of hundred followers and you're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah.
So it's focusing on building that community first and be like, I know them now. I've been in my DMs. I've seen the comments. I know exactly what they want.
Yeah. I think I've gone to like, I've had the idea in my head and now I've gone, my content has to be not directed at that because I got nothing to give yet. But I think that's where like, my content is a bit focused on what I want to offer at some point, but I'm not there yet. I'm a few steps ahead of myself.
And even like Helen, it might be just starting a free Facebook group that at least you can capture people in a place where mums are on Facebook groups. Like even if you're just sending them a link like, hey guys, like, did you know that this is now on sale at Baby Bunting or whatever, or, something that you found, TikToks you find, like creating a space that's got SEO so people can find you. I'd probably put a private group so you're collecting emails or at least getting them in so they're kind of qualified leads. But just starting, like that could be your freebie. Hey guys, come to my Facebook group. Like you can be anonymous or you can just come. We're just going to share the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly of motherhood. And I'll be there, and if it means that you give a bit of time for free to start with, that's going to benefit you tenfold when it comes to, okay, guys, I've now decided to create X. And they're like, that's amazing.
That's
I actually took that down as a note, the Facebook. I like that idea because I would join something like that.
Yeah.
And so many mums would that are looking for that kind of companion. I was just trying to think then, I was like, okay, what kind of AI agent that could you create that's like, those night like questions that you want to ask, like, should my baby be doing this? What is this rash? Like, I know we can't be doctors here and we've got to be careful, but like, what's something you could create that I don't want to Google it because everything ends in everyone's going to die and you may well go to ER. But what's something that, ways to boost my breast milk or is for like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but is there something that you can start to kind of like, hang on, this could be helpful for my community?
But like what Tara said, a survival guide with toddlers. And you fill it with full of ideas on, activities or places to take them, or you could fill the AI agent, like put in your location and then it generates a list of places to go that are good for kids only or babies only or got enough room for prams or that sort of stuff.
Could be, yeah. Or like what are you interested in? Being outside, inside, coffee?
Play or craft ideas. Like the amount of things, like Pinterest was a win. I used to always go to Pinterest and be like, okay, what could we craft today? But like something like that, you know, you could even that Facebook group just put, here's 5 things I found on Pinterest that you could do with just toilet roll in your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I love it. This has made me like.
That's what we're here for. Yay.
But remember the content, awareness, attraction, relatable, and then,
Yes, I think I've gone too deep too fast.
That happens. Happens to most of us.
Yeah, all the time.
Scramble my way back to the top.
And that's a good thing about UGC. You know, you can do it here and there and it kind of just boosts the bank account while you're focusing on this sort of stuff. And like what Trace said the other day, she had nothing for a few weeks and then all of a sudden she's boom, busy. And it happens like that. So who knows, tomorrow you'll have a bunch of inbounds. And
Tara, if you want to have a quick chat, we may as well for 10 minutes and then you're here.
Well, with me doing my membership, I actually I decided to use Facebook as my platform because I have so many members that are already kind of in Facebook and I didn't want them to have to download another app or anything that was going to be inconvenient. And then I don't know what happened, but it was, thank God I decided to set it up first before I sent like a final come and join and have people come in, because it was sending out invitations to everybody without me inviting them and letting them straight into the group. So I was waking up and there was like 1,000 people in my group
for free.
For free. Thank fuck I hadn't done anything. And I was contacting Facebook. I was asking my daughters. It was pissing me off so much. Then I deleted it, restarted it, did it again. 5 times it did it. And then, so I just put it all on silence and then had the weekend stressing. And then I redid it on Monday and no one has been invited in. So I think whatever was going on.
So Facebook's inviting, through your email list?
It was going through everyone that was already only the people in my Facebook Smart Savings account. It was just sending them all out invitations and people were like, oh my God, we're so excited to join this. We can't wait to see what
ready. They're ready.
Yeah.
So are they paying through Stripe or something and then you email them?
Yeah, I'll set it up through like Stripe or whatever. And like I'll do it through Stan Store and then I'll just add them into Facebook and just keep an monitor it myself.
They go through and pay with Stan Store. So they pay with Stan Store. Then the next email they get to say, thanks for joining. It could just say, click here to join the Facebook group. So then they click there. And then when they get to you, they'll have to either put in their email address that they join with or something. So you're just accepting then. Is that the way?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And then I presume Stan will notify you when they don't pay, if they don't renew the membership the next month, and then I can just delete or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I've got like a little welcome email, like a little welcome message set up, and I've just put in there at the moment, because I send like a free weekly recipe, but they only have access to that for 2 weeks and then I delete it. So unless they've downloaded it and saved it, they can't get it. So I've put all of those, I think it's about 50 recipes. I've just put them in there now so there's something.
Beautiful.
When they open it. And there's people all the time message me, oh, I didn't save that recipe. Can you give it to me? I don't have it on me at the moment. So
it's in the membership, actually.
Jump in there. You can have it whenever you want.
And so I've got that there. And then I was going back through my posts and realised what people love is when I go grocery shopping and get my stuff and then showing them the meals I made and how much it cost me. And then people always argue you can't do it that cheap. And so yesterday I did a big grocery shop and then I'm kind of putting a bit of something together and I'll do like an overview of that and put that on social media, but I'll go more in depth in the membership of this is what my grocery list was, this is what I'm making, these are the recipes.
Good idea.
And break it down more and then and maybe put more videos and stuff in the Facebook group and then just get feedback and see what people think and if that's what they want to see more of or less of or and I've got like dump bag recipes in with that. So because people love those.
Have you landed on a founding member price and all of that? You feel comfortable with?
You can always test it and, see what works and change it, or have, sales and discounts and that sort of stuff as well.
Because I was even thinking if I had just the founding friends for a few weeks and even put to them, what do you think would be a reasonable price for this kind of thing? Because they're locked in at a price.
Yeah.
So, it's a good, I think that could be a good feedback thing, because it's not like they're going to say, oh, no, because they're getting it at that price anyway. So it's not going to affect them. And I thought that could be good, honest.
I think that guy that did is it James Wedmore or Stu McLaren, she had the membership, food prepping membership. I think hers was $29 a month, and she's a frigging millionaire. So there's people that, pay that for meal prepping membership. So, maybe have a bit of a research to see if you can find other memberships and see what they're charging in that niche.
I think, remember that you've got you've taken your audience and what you've got is value packed and what you give them is valuable. If you start your founding friends, that's amazing. You're going to get feedback. I just structure that inquiry very carefully in terms of, I'm going to be opening the doors to this membership very soon. So I just want to be careful with that, because the value you give is a lot, and you will give a lot to this membership.
Yeah.
But yes, I think you need to be priced appropriate. But maybe when you go and do that, even if you put a question in the Facebook group, even if you draft what you think you want to kind of say, you could ask us all to get some feedback, just because sometimes we put ourselves in a position that we're like, once we've said it, we can't take it back kind of thing. So just so that you get the answers that are correct rather than the answers that people will give you because they're like, well, I don't pay for this.
Yeah. And it's how you put it forward too. Like Kristen said, less than a latte a week, you can save $50 on your shopping by, what we're talking about in here. So they don't see it as another expense, because sometimes memberships and subscriptions can be seen as another thing I've got to pay for.
Yeah.
So if you can have a chat with ChatGPT too, so how can I say this to kind of, get around that?
Exciting though.
Yeah. And I went into this meat supply place the other day just because friends of mine told me about it. And I walked in and there's this really real traditional old butcher. And I walked in the wrong entrance, and always that's normal me. And he was like, oh, where did you come from? So we're having a bit of a chat. And then he was showing me around, and I said, look, I have a little bit of a following on social media. Would you like me to do a post for you? Because they've gone from supplying to restaurants to supplying to the local area. And he's like, oh, come with me. So I just blindly follow this man out of this factory into this
Butcher shop.
Into this bolted door. My husband was with me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, Tara? And we just sort of follow in. And then we go in and he sits me down at their boardroom. And they've got this full office, and he brings in his marketing manager, and they're handing me over hundreds of dollars of meat. It's all these sous vide ribs and all this amazing stuff. And they're like, oh, this is exactly what we're looking for. Can you just come and do all this shit for?
Great.
Fuck yeah. See, put yourself out there. Just random
good. It was so funny. And I'm like, oh, I was just going to do it just to be nice.
Free meat. Yeah.
And now my husband has a bit of a different opinion of what I'm doing, because we've got all this free meat in the fridge.
Takes them a while to come around.
Does take a while.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. And it just goes to show how just say something, put it out there.
Yeah.
And it was nice because they were appreciative of what I do. Other places are always want to pay you the minimum. They think what you do is nothing, that you should be grateful for pittance. And they were even I went back yesterday just to get a couple of bits, and I messaged her and said, oh yeah, I popped in, and she's like, oh my God, you should tell me when you come in and we'll just give you more stuff. It was just so nice to be on the other end of it, instead of feeling like you've got to beg for someone to acknowledge what you do is actually beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And it's good because they've obviously seen that your audience are basically their ideal kind of customers too. So you're talking to the people that probably come in there and buy all the time. That's very exciting.
I had a line out the door. I posted on Saturday morning because they do a free cook up on a Saturday morning, and the line was out the door.
Yeah, right.
And they had, I think I got weirdly, because my views are generally lower on TikTok than Instagram, but on TikTok it was like 50,000 views really quickly. And people were like, oh my God, we've been looking at this place and we've been wondering what it's like, but we didn't, because it's a bit of an odd, it's like this new area that they're establishing and it's got restaurants and there's a deli coming and a meat supply and blah, blah, blah. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'll do really good for them because then I can get to the deli and then I can get to like everywhere.
So good. And they probably realize that, yeah, content is everything, you know, people need to know about these random places. Yeah. So awesome. Cheap podcast. Absolutely. There's so many good ones too.